when I'm hanging out in a quiet room on a sunny afternoon with the shades drawn, but there's that one beam of light coming in, and you see all the little floaties that you have in the room, the dust and all that just being like, because when you stare at a beam of light, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see all these little, I call them floaties. And it's just really cool because you see light just playing upon it. And, it made me really think like, wow, light and shadow, it's just so interesting because shadow doesn't exist without light, and light can't exist, light as a force exists without shadow, but not as an experience. You need both to experience the world. So when I was writing light, I wanted what does that sound like? What, when I kind of came up with this little riff, it was which is kind of really hard to play. But I wanted that resonate, like how it just, the reverb just kind of plays out, and that's me looking at the floaties as this little ray of light comes in. And it's just very simple, very enjoy this moment while you're staring at this beam of light, and that's kind of how it started. And then from there, the viewer becomes more aware of what they're seeing, and it turns into the full chords at that point. And, that's the full chord, and then it just goes lower, and it just kind of goes back between those two. That's then the viewer hanging out in the room. Just kind of kept evolving from there. And then I really liked what Jerry did. I believe it was Jerry that added those little pianos on top.
Yeah.
He's layered in these pianos that were just so smooth, so they didn't hit too hard. They had kind of a soft hit. It was it was perfect for this kind of scene we were building. Mm-hmm. And I really like how that came out. And
cinematic.
Then,
very cinematic, and you get a very visual kind of feeling to it.
Yeah. And then, the rest of the band got a hold of it and started putting stuff on, and then sooner or later there was a little drum track that kind of kicked in. And I liked that it didn't start with the drums because it just would have been too much. You want that beam of light, and then all the things that light is connected to, and you kind of expand it from there, which was, I really liked how it ended up coming out.
So my 2 cents on light, I wasn't sure where we wanted to go. And I remember the first time that I sat down was I read the novel a second time, and I was in the Dominican on vacation with the wife, and I had a cigar and a drink and all these notes that I had poured over, and I threw my headphones in and I started writing. What I started writing was light, and the idea there was taking scenes, especially in light and shadow, taking scenes directly from the book to describe the world that you had created. So I wanted to write about that visual that you had there of not only light, but of the world you created and the place in your novel known as the light. And I wanted to be descriptive, and I wanted to do something a little bit different than Drop to Zero had ever done. So I wanted to go far more ethereal than I ever had vocally with it, and that's why I reached out to Milan and to Mackenzie McIntyre to do the backing vocals on that.